Yeah. I'm here. I'm ready to go, man. No problem.
Yeah, I'm ready to talk to you too. I mean, it was about a year ago I spoke with you, and I actually, I don't know, it got published it got published through Blabbermouth because we talked about Christian metal, and they totally misquoted you and misrepresented you. I apologize for all that because that's so ridiculous. That's not what was intended. I wonder if that inspired Divider.
Yeah, they do that from time to time, and not only misquotes, but they what they really do often. They're the kings of is taking just a piece
Right.
of a quote and kind of spinning it or trying to spin it into something else. And when you read the entire article, it's like, oh, okay, that
Yeah.
wasn't bad at all.
Right. Yeah.
you
You
know,
see the tagline. You think, oh my God, I got to click on this, and then yeah, you
it,
realize it's
it, exactly.
yeah, junk journalism. I know that's why I don't like Blabbermouth, and I wasn't where the site was originally, but it got linked to that, and I apologize for all the Twitter feeds, whatever happened. But anyway,
No worries. I'm used to it. I mean, that's part of the machine.
exactly. And when I read the lyrics to Divider, I can see that that's obviously I've been dealing with this for 30 plus years with people, misquoting you or misrepresenting you, or and you're just like, okay, enough, but you've proven who you are. You've tested your metal's been tested, all these decades, and you still prove who you are. And I was just telling my wife, it's amazing because I think if I was listening to any other band and reading these lyrics, I probably would just dismiss them because I'd be like, ugh, yeah, it's kind of preachy. But somehow you have the ability to do it, and it just works. And then when you listen to Middle Finger Messiah, you're like, what's the Middle Finger Messiah? It's like, oh, we're all telling him to F off because everybody's giving him the hard time. And, it's kind of like you as well. It's like, you don't try to put any of that religious stuff in anybody's face, but it's your faith, it's your belief, and that's what you're going to write about. And you write about it so well.
Yeah, we're like any other band out there. All the other metal bands, just referring to metal, they sing about, or at least they began when they first started. They began singing about what was passionate for them,
Right.
and what they were passionate about, whether that was whatever that was, you name it. And this is the same thing with Stryper. This is what we're passionate about. Uh, I'm sure many people roll their eyes and think it's preachy and think that it's over the top, and we're pushing it on them and whatnot, but we're really not. It's our art,
Right.
and that's what we want our art to be about. And it's the way it was in '84. It's the way it is in 2020.
Yeah, and I noticed. I mean, the new album is so good. The more I listen to it, the more I love it. It's like this keeps getting better and better. And I start to realize, I'm like, wait a minute, For God and Rock and Roll, is that the sequel to, the Rock That Makes Me Roll? And the more I listen to some of these songs, it's like I'm starting to, even the Do Unto Others, and it's like I'm starting to catch like this is kind of cool. It's like the themes are coming back, but they're still there. And I
Right.
literally less than 10 minutes ago, I listened to one of my favorite songs, which is God, which is off the covering when you do all those great covers of Judas Priest and UFO and Van Halen. And it's just such a great original and one of my favorite songs.
Well,
And
thank you, man.
I listened to that, but I have to say that I do think this is your best album for me personally since Murder by Pride. Most of my friends are like, "Oh, every album gets better," and they're right, they do. But it's something about this one where it just has every aspect. Hard rock, because my friend was even like, he's like, what about that song, This I Pray? I'm like, you probably won't like that because you don't like Poison, And I've gone on the record and said that the title track, obviously you've worked a lot with George Lynch, so maybe this rubbed off a little bit because there's definitely that Break in the Chains riff, which is awesome. Middle finger,
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because people say that, but then again, you go back and you listen to some of the old Stryper songs, and maybe Doc and rip Stryper off,
it's possible,
because
yeah. It's
I mean, we were writing riffs like that years ago, and it's just, I think we're all interconnected.
definitely
We're all raised on the same kind of music. Scorpions, UFO,
Judas
Van
Priest.
Halen, Priest made it. Yeah, so you're going to hear those bits and flavors. From any band that releases new music, but we don't run from that. We're proud of that.
Yeah, and
I read a comment. Pardon me. I'm still waking up. I read a comment from a guy on YouTube, and he said, "Man, they should really mix it up and change things up. It's just the same stuff over and over again." And I'm thinking, well, should Star Wars, franchise just release a movie, a Western, really change things up, man, that makes no sense when I read comments like that. Why would we change things up? We're Stryper. We have our own unique sound, and we're going to keep doing that.
Exactly. And you write the music and you play the guitar and you sing, and I love the way you wear your influences on your sleeve. I mean, as much as I love Middle Finger Messiah, I definitely hear Judas Priest Exciter, but I hear that you wear your influences on your sleeve, and I think that's been the case. And even on the last album, The Valley, I heard a little bit of Metallica, and I think that's good because you listen to this music, it's obviously going to influence you. But you're right.
See, Middle Finger Messiah reminds me of a band that I wasn't a big fan of and still am not. I mean, I get it. I respect them, but I'm just not a fan. And it's got more of a Motorhead vibe to it,
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the Exciter melody, I hear that. Of course, that's absolutely blatant. But I'm just talking about the riff and the speed and the style. It's very Motorhead.
And you're not a fan of them?
I'm more into like song in terms of metal. I'm more into the Blood from Above style of stuff.
Right.
That's my favorite metal track on the album.
Oh yeah, the opener is just killer. I mean, and that was before the album came out. That's what we got treated to, and it was like, oh, this is a good sign. The new Stryper is going to rule because just less than a year ago, you put out that solo album with so many great songs, and you had so many guests, and it was just I was just like, how do you keep doing it? You're not getting any younger, and you can continue to write amazing music.
You know what, man? If I have a secret, I don't think I do, but if I do, I would say that it's just the love. Not that other bands or artists don't still love it. I don't want to imply that, but I still really passionately love it. I love what I do. I get excited about it. When it's time to do an album, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. And I get really pumped about it. And it's not like, oh, let's do it. Okay, here we go again. And I literally have heard peers and friends who are in the business say that to me. Like, that's the attitude. Like, oh, we're doing another album.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of dreading it, but, and I think that's the reason why maybe their stuff isn't as exciting. We still love what we do.
And this is the first time you've written with Perry, right?
Yeah, it didn't really. I mean, not to take anything away from Perry, but I didn't really write with Perry on this album.
Okay, so most of the music was written before, or
all the music was written ahead of time. I mean, basically, Perry submitted a few titles.
Okay.
He submitted "Make Rock Great Again," and my brother threw out there "Make God Great Again." And I said, well, you don't really need to make God any greater than he is. So I came up with Make Love Great Again. So Perry, basically that title came from Perry.
Okay.
And then Do Unto Others, too. Perry threw that title out, and I loved it. But, I mean, I didn't sit down and write with Perry,
Okay.
I'd love to someday. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, because you've worked with so many artists over the years. And just out of curiosity, were there any guest artists on the new Stryper like there were when you did your solo album, or is it just the four of you guys?
The only guest artist we have on the Stryper album is a gentleman by the name of Keith Pittman. And Keith is a really great drummer and a singer who's going to be playing with my solo band.
Okay.
And he sings like a bird. And we wanted an extra voice on the background vocals just to give it a different texture. And we brought in Keith, and Keith is singing with Perry, Oz, and myself on all those background vocals.
Okay.
Yeah, so he really brought something unique to the table. There's a little different flavor to the background vocals, but any other guest, there's no other guest. It's just that, obviously this is Perry's first album, so
right.
He's new, and he's brought a lot to the table. There's just the thundering low end that sounds so great.
Have you heard Tim's new band, the of Gods and Monsters?
I did, and it's funny. Two of my dear friends in the business are in that band. Actually, one of them used to be in my band.
Right. I kind of knew that.
Joey Tafoya.
Yeah, Joe Tafoya.
And then Dean Castronova is a dear friend of mine as well, and I love those two guys. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's great stuff. I'm really impressed. And Kevin Gucher from Texas, from Omen and everything, he really just does a good job. I was pretty impressed. I like stumbled across it, had no idea the lineup, and when I saw the lineup, I'm like, oh my god, what a great lineup, you know. And you're
Yeah,
right,
Joey and Dean are amazing.
right,
Love
and
those guys. Love those guys as players, and love those guys as people. They're two amazing friends and people. They have great hearts. I love them to death.
that's so good. That's so good. That shows the true metal as well. Now, I remember reading an article maybe about a month ago where Oz Fox was celebrating the anniversary of Against the Law and saying actually that's one of his favorite albums and he loves his guitar work. Is there going to be like a remaster or an actual reissue of that?
I doubt it.
Because it's so maligned by
I
people, or
doubt it. I doubt it. I can't see that happening,
oh,
really. I
bummer.
mean, it may happen down the road because we are, all the albums are starting to revert back to us, and our plans are to remaster them, maybe add a new song to each album,
Oh,
remaster it,
okay,
release it.
okay,
But, everybody knows my opinion about Against the Law, and it's so
right,
funny how everybody gets so worked up. They take it so to heart.
right.
And I'm like, gosh, calm down, everybody. I have very valid reasons why I don't like that album.
Exactly, exactly.
And I mean, maybe that's not the right way to put it. I don't like how that album
Came into fruition, yeah.
turned out and what went behind the album. And it's hard for me to listen to it and get into it to this day because of that.
Yeah, I read your autobiography 5 years ago, so I know all about
Yeah.
what happened and what happened with the guys, and you know how they were falling away
Yeah,
from the
I mean,
path, and
Oz did a great job on it, but I mean,
right.
I think some of his best solos are still on other albums.
Hmm.
I mean, like Surrender, you're not going to top that.
Yeah, no kidding.
Come on now.
Well, he's got some good. Now he's doing some kick-ass solos on the new album too, right?
He's got kick-ass solos on the new album. Everything's split up 50-50. It's Oz tore it up on some songs, and then I played solos on some songs too. I find it funny when I think there was a review that just came out recently. And the guy said, yeah, one of my favorite solos of all time that they've ever done by Oz Fox is on Do Unto Others. And I'm like, well, that wouldn't be Oz. But it's just funny how people just don't know. They don't have the facts. There's still a lot of people to this day that don't know that I play guitar. And they come up to me night after night. I see it online. They send me messages, and they're like, never knew you play guitar. And I'm just thinking, there's no way you're a real Stryper fan.
You're the
There's
chief
just no way.
songwriter. You wrote all those albums back in the day, even Rock's Regime. You're the chief songwriter.
Well, I mean, aside from that, I'm a guitar player first, man. Dude, I was playing guitar when I was 5 years old, and we were a trio before Oz joined the band.
Right, right.
We played out for a few years as a trio, and people, I guess because I'm the singer, they don't want to believe that I play guitar. It's really bizarre to me. It's so strange.
Even because when I was listening to This I Pray, and I was just thinking, God, this song sounds like Poison. But then it's like, oh, wait a minute. He had CC DeVille back in the band with Rock's Regime. Maybe, like you said, maybe Dawkins stole from you, and maybe Poison stole from you, because you were definitely part of that LA scene in the early 80s. I think a lot of people don't realize that, too, that Stryper was intricate to that LA scene. You may not be featured in Decline of Western Civilization, but you were there when so many of those bands were burgeoning. And
we were there through it all. But I got a funny story to tell you about This I Pray that'll kind of wipe that theory out.
Okay.
I didn't write the song.
Really?
So in other words, well, that's not altogether true. A friend of mine, a local legend, his name's Livio Graviti, he sent me a song, and it was basically this. It was called I Pray.
Okay.
And it was the verses over and over again. So it never had that chorus. So imagine the verse being the chorus.
Okay.
And it was really good. I liked it, but it didn't really go anywhere for the chorus. And he wanted me to come and sing on that. He was going to record that for his album. And I said, well, man, dude, I like this song. What if Stryper records it? Let me rewrite it and do some things to it, rearrange it, and Stryper will record it. And that's what happened. So I wrote the choruses. I wrote some extra verses. I arranged it. And it's a co-write now with myself and Livio and his fiancée, Lisa. And that's why it's got such a different flavor to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but it does have, see, to me, I don't think of Poison. I think more of Southern rock and Bon Jovi than Poison.
Well, definitely Bon Jovi too. I would agree with that
Yeah,
too, and that's a good
yeah.
that's a good
And
thing too.
I would never compare Bon Jovi to Poison. That's just me. Maybe I've got bad ears or something, but there's no similarities there at all.
Well, I just found out on the debut of Bon Jovi that Aldo Nova played guitar. Not, I mean, you find all this stuff out that you never knew when you were listening to it back in the day. It's like, wait a minute, okay. Now, how is
True.
Oz? How is Oz's health? Because last time I spoke to him a year ago, he was doing well, and we got, he was recovering. But then I heard that he had like a little bit of lapse. Is he okay again?
Well, yeah, he's been taking care of himself and doing everything that he can to try to battle this. We still don't know what it
Right,
is,
right.
if they're benign or if it's cancer. They are growing 2 tumors in his brain. They are growing. Obviously, at some point, it's going to really have an effect on him, mentally and physically, if it's not dealt with properly. And I know that they're talking with doctors about maybe surgery and whatnot, kind of taking it a step further. But he's been trying to, with alternative medicine and diet,
Okay.
fight and battle these tumors.
That's good. And he still obviously sounds really good on the new album, so more power to him. And obviously, I guess once we get past all this COVID-19 and everything, when you tour again next year,
Exactly. Yeah, we're praying and hoping for that, man. I mean, it remains to be seen. Nobody knows
right.
what's going to happen next year in the music world. Everyone, they think they do, and people are saying, "Oh yeah, we're going to be out touring.
Yeah.
We're going to start in April, nonstop." And I'm
Yeah.
thinking, well, you don't really know that,
Yeah. We do. Now, I can't wait to get the album on CD. Obviously, I just have it digital. And that might be a lot of why people are ignorant, because everybody gets it digitally, then they download, or even to certain sites like my library has a free download of it now that it's available. But I don't
Oh
have the
wow.
CD. But did the red, yellow, purple vinyl sell out completely?
It's sold out, but you know what we do, and I'm sure we will this time around too, is we'll do like a limited run at some point of some more vinyl. I'm
Okay,
sure we'll
good.
do that.
That's
Oh
good.
yeah.
I'm all excited. I pre-ordered the new Raven on purple vinyl, and that's sold out. It doesn't even come out till tomorrow. Now, it's crazy. But you guys had some listening parties advanced to prepare for the album, and those were pretty productive and lucrative for you guys, right?
Oh yeah, man. We did 4 listening parties, and they were so successful that we're doing 2 more today.
Oh, great. That's awesome.
We decided to throw 2 more up, and man, the response has been insane. People really enjoyed it. We had a blast. Basically, we play the whole album, the whole band, and after 3 songs, we'll talk. After 3 more songs, we'll talk. We take questions, and it's really a fun experience. It's 90 minutes, and it's only $7.77.
I know. I love that. $7.77. Yeah.
Yeah, and people, I mean, it's affordable for anyone and everyone. You can get tickets at Stryper.com, but I mean, it's happening today, so I doubt people will hear this message in time. But it's been really cool doing it. We're going to do more in the future.
Definitely. Well, I've been posting on Facebook about those, so people have definitely been keeping up, because that even before the album came out, you guys did a listening party. So it's just so
That's
great.
right.
And then you have that session, and then it's a good with today's technology to take advantage of today's technology where fans can really interact with the band. Because you're right. I mean, we're not seeing you at shows, and the last time we saw you at shows, you were doing a bunch of covers, and people got mad about that too. So
Exactly. I know, man. It's like you can't win. And if we did, like the fans that complained about covers said, man, I wish they dropped the covers and just do all Stryper stuff. And then if we did all Stryper stuff, fans would say, oh, man, you used to do covers. Why did you drop the cover? I mean,
yep.
it's insane. You just can't win.
And 7 years ago, you did To Hell with the Devil its entirety. They're like, but they're not playing any of the other stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't. I'm always happy when you mix it up like that. I'm grateful to have seen you so many times to be able to, oh yeah, To Hell with the Devil in its entirety, and with Petra opening, and and White Cross opening, and oh my God, now they're going to do Judas Priest and Van Halen. This is awesome. Now
Totally.
you got great chart positions on the new album. I saw some really good sale across the world actually. Um, is this your best-selling album since the '80s so far?
Well, I think it is. I mean, all the last 3 albums, No More Hell to Pay, Fallen, and Goddamn Evil, all did roughly around the same in the 8,500 to 9,500 range. This one did a little bit better. It's at around 10,000.
Oh, good.
First week out, so that means the life of the album over the next few years or so will definitely be probably the best and the highest. But still, comparatively speaking, it's really compared to the '80s. The sales are low, but that's the way it is for everybody.
Right, right,
It's
right.
just it's a different world we live in right now. it's not about buying music anymore. It's about streaming.
It
Pretty
is.
much.
I know. When I just found out the Skid Row put out their 30th anniversary, their self-titled with a bunch of bonus tracks. I went to order the CD. It's digital only, and everything's either streaming or digital. It's either and then it's vinyl, and then CDs are like tertiary. It's like, damn it.
I know,
I'm sorry, I
man.
didn't mean to swear.
It's a different world, but I'll tell you this:
Damn it.
for Stryper to come out with an album in 2020 and to sell 10,000 units in the first week and to chart as we've charted, that's miraculous.
Absolutely.
It's literally miraculous because it's unheard of, and I'm sure it's the talk of the industry because I'm sure many people are saying, like, how in the hell did these guys do that?
Yeah.
And I don't know how we did it. I mean, we always give credit to God and the fans, and we're very thankful for it. But I don't know, man. I expected the album. I would have been really happy with 4,000 or 5,000 units in this world. So to sell 10,000 units and chart as high as we did, it's crazy.
Well, Stryper is the Mr. Rogers of metal.
Well, I'm trying to think if that's a compliment.
That is definitely a compliment. Absolutely. We watched that Tom Hanks Mr. Rogers Neighborhood movie last night, and watching how a man who dedicated his life to service and working with all those children and doing all that stuff still struggled and still had difficulty, but he was a man of faith and a man of prayer and a man of honesty and a man of integrity. And that's what you are, but that's also what your brother is, and that's also what Stryper as a collective is. Now I got to ask you in closing, what does the devil believe? Because when I saw that title 2 months ago as a new album title, I'm like, what does the devil believe? I didn't know the devil believed anything. So
well, because the devil believes in the sense, not in the sense that he follows Christ, obviously, but he believes in Christ and he believes in God because he was there in the beginning. He's a creation. God created the heavens and the earth,
right,
created the angels. Lucifer was one of them.
Right.
And then Lucifer tried to take over heaven, was booted out, became Satan.
Right.
So Satan, the devil, knows how it all began and knows how it's all going to end. He knows.
Okay, because I know they always say that one of the greatest tricks the devil ever did was to make you think he doesn't exist, and I thought maybe it was a play on that. But I do understand the whole. Yeah, I understand what you're talking about when the fall, and then he took the angels with him, and then Saint Michael and all that stuff. Yeah, I was raised Catholic, so I'm
exactly
very
so
familiar
that's
with all
means.
that.
And then it also, the other side of that coin is, it takes more than just saying you believe.
Right.
It takes actions. It takes putting your actions behind your words.
Yeah,
and living it.
Right, exactly. Conviction, living it, honesty, integrity.
Yep.
And then
yep.
I guess the middle finger Messiah is the fact that in spite of everything that everybody, I mean, I remember reading an article a couple weeks ago where you said that even black metal bands love early Stryper, but they'll still give God the middle finger because it's not their thing, or society gives God the middle finger, or everybody's trying to push that down. But if you're just like Mr. Rogers, he was a man of conviction, but people still embraced him because he focused on service and did so much for so many people. And that's what you have done with your band and you in general. For almost 40 years, and I admire that. Like I said, I read these lyrics and I go, and I'm listening to the music. I'm like, I don't think I'd really be into. I mean, I listen to a lot of Christian metal because that started the controversy last year. But I don't think I'd be like listening to a lot of this stuff, kind of like this. Okay, it's kind of proselytized and kind of preachy, but it just works because like you said, it's your metal. It's what you play. It's what you have a passion for. It's what you believe in. So why not write what you believe in? Star Wars fans are going to write about Star Wars. Baseball fans are going to write about baseball. I just wrote lyrics to about a song about Ernest P. Worrell because Jim Varney. So write what you love, right?
Yeah, and the reason why it works is because it's real.
Exactly.
Stryper isn't a gimmick.
No.
Although many people think we are.
No.
We're not a gimmick. We're not perfect. We fail. If you come into our lives, in our private lives, and you hang out with us, you're going to see that.
Yep.
We're not preachy. We're not churchy. We're not perfect. We never claim to be. But we do have a desire to serve God and to share that with the world and be an inspiration. And it's real. It's a real thing. It's not a gimmick. You're not going to see Stryper singing about God, then we take off our costumes backstage and go, thank God that's over. Give me the effing box. I mean, it's not like that.
Nope.
We're the real deal. Now, a lot of other bands, it is a gimmick.
Right.
They go out there and sing about Satan, and then they go to church on Sunday.
You mean Tom Araya from Slayer?
I'm just saying. I'm not necessarily singling him out. I'm just saying it literally is, with all due respect, a gimmick.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's just a show. It's a prop.
Exactly.
And maybe it didn't start off being that way, but it ended that way. Stryper is still real.
Yes.
We sing about what we believe and what we have faith in, and that's never going to change. And then when it does change, we'll quit as a band.
Oh, okay. That's a very noble statement, because that's honest, and that's I have
I mean, if we ever stop singing about God, I mean, there's no point in continuing on.
exactly, because it would be inauthentic, and it would be, it wouldn't be what you guys are. So,
That's right.
well, Michael, it's always an honor and a privilege to speak with you. I have a million questions, but I don't want to bombard you. Like you see, you're just waking up, and I've been planning for this interview for 7 hours now.
Hey, brother.
Well,
Thank you so much. It's been an honor talking to you too, my friend, and God bless you. And let's see what Blabbermouth does with this, okay?
God, I hope they don't do anything this time. I hope just skip it.
All right, brother.
Take care.
God bless, man. Bye-bye.
You bet.